a wonderful solvent as a supercritical fluid condition in which solid, liquid, gases, all the three phases coexist. Very good solvent, many industrial applications already there. And future, maybe 10 years or 15 years about now, there's a chances all your washing machine will be run with supercritical carbon dioxide itself. And many chemicals, including our dry ice, fire extinguisher, many things, even nowadays, many oil companies, they are going for enhanced oil and gas. Put carbon dioxide in the oil well or gas well, you will get more amount of carbon dioxide discarded. And similarly, it can be very easily converted into various value-added chemicals. And right now, the problem is about yield is not very good. Even methanol, commercially, they're going to make it. And there are various opportunities we can do. So, little research is required. So, these are the various options in which the captured carbon dioxide is converted into various value-added products. Again, it is not moving. Can you move it physically? Go next slide. Are you operating here? Yes. So this is what the global scientists and engineers are working on this. Capture the carbon dioxide and convert it into various value-added products, including urea and others. So in this direction, we have also started in our group. We capture carbon dioxide using membrane technologies, and some of the things we converted into value-added products. And this is a reactor, membrane reactor we have used, in which this is one cylinder in which it will store carbon dioxide. This is a separator. It's a membrane in between a thin membrane specific for carbon dioxide. We again made up using amines for this purpose generally, because it is very selective to carbon dioxide, acid-base reaction kind of things, and create a pressure difference. Driving force comes from pressure difference between these two, in between the cylinder. It's a high pressure, here it is back to low pressure. So what happens is the carbon dioxide permeates selectively through this membrane here. We put the membrane, this folder, it will permeate only carbon dioxide, nitrogen is leaving. So by this way, we got about more than 18% of pure carbon dioxide from 10% carbon dioxide. And these are the various membranes we tried. Everything almost based on nitrogen. If you have any organic compounds, nitrogen, it acts as a basic substance. We have investigated diethanol and trial, tetra, that is 3, 2, 4 members containing nitrogen molecule. We incorporated into the membrane that we use, and we have noticed as you increase the number of nitrogen, that is tetraamine, tetramine, that gives more permeability or selectivity towards carbon dioxide. So we increase the number, we will achieve selectivity and high purity. Similarly, this is another dendrimer molecule. That's a polymer kind of nitrogen, and with many number of nitrogen, you can make it a trimer, dendrimer complexity. That is polymeric nitrogen compound that becomes still more selective, and other thing that we use for the separation of carbon dioxide from containing 85% nitrogen and 15% carbon dioxide. We achieved more than 90% of carbon dioxide from nitrogen. Also, we made some attempt with the similar mimicking. Instead of nitrogen, we went for tributyl phosphate, because nitrogen and phosphorus, same periodic groups, same similar function. And we noticed even tributyl phosphate, which is mimicking kind of nitrogen, also behaved good in permeating selectively carbon dioxide through this membrane. Also, we made some polyvinyl trimethylsilane, and we use it for separation of carbon dioxide and nitrogen for pure gas as well as fuel gas, that is carbon dioxide and methane. Many biological reactions, especially enzymatic reaction, carbon dioxide is available even up to 14%. 24% that is there. And suppose we go for this silane-based membrane, still carbon dioxide can be. Actually, this is a membranes we have used for the separation of carbon dioxide. So this is a reaction. I think we don't have time. Similar interaction. carbon dioxide and nitrogen amines that gives selectivity. And some of the publications we published on this direction, that is using gentlemer molecules, we have especially in the Journal of Membrane Science. It's a gentlemer molecule. And another one, we use a tributyl phosphate for the separation. And ceramic tubings also we have coated with tributyl phosphate, and also we selectively achieved separation of carbon dioxide. So these separated carbon dioxide molecules using this nitrogen and phosphorus containing membrane, we converted into various value-added products. And one of the important things is ammonium carbonate. And it's nothing but mostly urea. If you dehydrate it, you can get urea. That demand is very, very high. You can use carbon dioxide, convert it into ammonium carbonate in the precursor material on dehydration with urea. That's what we use. And for this, what we have done is we use vegetable oil. And this is an actual study done in our international hostel. We use vegetable oil that we are taking as a medium, and in which we added ammonia. And if we pass carbon dioxide, ammonia carbonate is precipitated. No separation, nothing, because ammonia carbonate being insoluble in vegetable oil, it is separated out as a pure product. It is separated easily and easily. In fact, what we did it, even ammonia, we initially did that. Then we collected urine separately. After 3 days, it is stored. It will be converted into uric acid, into ammonia. If we add alkali, ammonia will be selectively liberated from the urine base, and that ammonia plus used vegetable oil we combine to get ammonium carbonate as a value-added product. So very easily we can convert carbon dioxide with all waste. Carbon dioxide, use vegetable oil and urine to value-added product ammonium carbonate. This is one of the some work we followed up in this direction. Also, we use the different amines again to get not only this is simple ammonia, complex amines also we use, and we get the respective carbonate. Everything is insoluble. That's the advantage. Just pass carbon dioxide, put it in a vegetable oil, use the vegetable oil. Any amines you want to make carbonate, if you pass the carbonate being insoluble material, it is thrown out as an insoluble product. We can separate it and use it because this is also pharmaceutical carbonate, many pharmaceutical ingredients, plus it's also used in pesticide manufacturing, etc. So again, we have gone for deep electric solvent and converted into this. And again, carbon dioxide, the ultrasonic condition, we converted carbon dioxide into resorcinol, with the resorcinol, resolic acid, and some of the industrial waste material, alkaline waste material, like a fly ash, we converted into the respective brick, fly ash brick. And you see the history here, it is a reversal reaction. Fly ash is a product of calcium carbonate. Along with the fly ash, it is burned, we get energy. The inorganic residue is nothing but fly ash. That is you reverse reaction. Again, mix with the carbon dioxide and get it back the fly ash. It is a fly ash brick also. Also, we made some glycerol carbonate reacting with the glycerol. It's a carbonation reaction. And sodium bicarbonate. Here we use industrial waste. Brine, you have taken fast ammonical medium. It's sodium bicarbonate. It's a baking soda, we can get it. And especially we investigated Orvo reject. Many places nowadays, desalination plants are coming. We have taken the Orvo. Conventionally, the sodium bicarbonate is made from seawater. Instead of seawater, Orvo reject we utilize and we obtain sodium bicarbonate. This is a nutshell of the various products we obtained using carbon dioxide. Again, the solid material, we use bricks from fly ash, steel, industrial thing, and coal fly ash, etc. We investigate all alkaline, everything is converted into respective, that especially in the red mud brick, strength is very, very high. The red one, middle one, you can see here, the compressive strength is very good among all the three. Some of the papers we published in this direction using the alkaline paste. That's in Journal of Cleaner Protection, fly ash. slag and electric solvent, grains, gas to cooking oil, ammonium carbonate, etc. So in this, I will start by applying a pattern also for a conversion of glycerol carbonate, about 8% thing. So that's one. Still, we are looking to improve the efficiency. So with this, I will conclude my talk. Definitely, sustainable development goal. To look at it, 12 and 13, very, very important, focusing on circular economy. It is going to benefit. Definitely, till we achieve carbon neutrality, good renewable resources, we cannot neglect this conventional way of thinking. The only solution is thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. We can have the next presenter, A107, addressing environmental issues.
In the field of economics, I'm presenting this paper. It's about electric vehicles. I just made a study of comparison of the lithium-ion batteries from the electric vehicle and the fuel cell batteries from SUVs. I just wanted to compare the raw materials used for good this batteries. Yeah, we want to save the earth from something, or we want towards another disaster. So I just made a comparative study of the lithium-ion batteries with the FCEV. Should we focus on one thing, or is there any further solution? So I just made a review of this paper. Okay. So my comparative study of lithium-ion batteries and fuel cells for electric vehicles and their environmental impact, basically for India. So I'm a research scholar, Department of Economics. Let me introduce the concept about exactly from where the study started. So told there's a power emission factors, and I'm just focusing mainly on the transport sector. And transport sector contributes nearly 12% of the carbon emission and basically the media. And of that, road transportation, all the transportation, road transportation constitutes the major. And the road transportation, passenger vehicles is the main area where other areas are there to be focused, but passenger vehicles can be the area the focus can be diverted. So, all the studies of the literature review about actually battery electric vehicles and fuel cell vehicles are these two vehicles that are called as low tailpipe emission vehicles. They don't emit any carbon. So, the studies also is that are the carbon emission or the carbon footprint for these vehicles are enough to mitigate the carbon emissions. The carbon footprint is that the carbon emissions come right from the production to the end use. What are the carbon emitted by the production process and the usage and its disposal is not a carbon footprint. So these two vehicles carbon footprint was also been checked by study has been conducted on various levels. Then adopting electric vehicles on Indian roads is the main area of the studies. So I compared the two alternatives to get the best solutions. The literature review done on this like carbon footprint, as I already said, there is no emission on usage level, but there is an emission on the production level. If the battery electricity that we derive to drive this vehicle is from the other source of energy, then there is a carbon emission. And therefore, renewable energy should be used for driving electric vehicles, and also like methods of producing hydrogen also determine the carbon emission. What are the barriers and challenges in adopting electric area? Firstly, that customers are not willing to buy EVs and not at this stage of the easy. No, so there is a uptake in the consumer satisfaction, but there the challenges are very high that the production cost and the infrastructure, charging infrastructure, and the range and the energy efficiency, that are the main predominant challenges that are adopting EV in India is the cost of consumption. And fuel cell electric vehicles, that is not in the buying state, but the problem is with this that it is that the hydrogen that drives the vehicle and the production of hydrogen determine the carbon emission. If it is not made from the renewable energy, then the carbon emission is still be higher at that sense. Green hydrogen is a solution. Green hydrogens are those hydrogen that has been generated through renewable source of energy. And Indian government is basically working on this mission of Indian national emission hydrogen emission mission. So, like this is also an area where that can be explored for at a various level. And the infrastructure and the charging issue is the burning topic because to charge an electric vehicle, it can take 5 to 7 hours, yeah, like depending on the charging velocity. So people are not willing to go for that also. Whereas in the fuel cell electric vehicle, you can just fill that tank with hydrogen and you can move on. And the main crucial part is recycling of lithium batteries. It is a very, like, we start with an innovation, but the end use is the critical area that is the topic, the waste. Waste is the major topic. So I just explain the trends of EVs. Till now, 59,182 vehicles have been registered in India. State has made 25 different drafted and made different 25 different policies on this EV, and we have only 3 EV manufacturers. And the charging station is 1,800. There is a policy to make cover 2,686 charging stations in India. But right now we have this much stationary. And the growth of EV from 2015 to 2020 have gone to 133%, 133%. This is reduced to 2656.62 kilotons of carbon emission. And the total share of electric vehicles of the total transportation is just 1.32%. This is very less compared to the population energy income level. This data I have taken from the NITI Aayog site. And now just I will explain in short what is an electric vehicle, battery electric vehicle. This is an electric vehicle. The major, that yellow color, it is the stack of batteries where the batteries have been kept. From where the car gets the energy to drive. And what are the raw materials used? Raw materials used to make this battery are lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite. And lithium is like they have been made from the salt, right from mineral. And it is available in certain parts of the world, like Chile, Argentina, Australia, and certain countries. So we will be basically relying on those materials, and we are exporting lithium-ion batteries from China. So we are again dependent on the raw material. Secondly, the energy efficiency and range. Though it is what is going on the batteries, so that it can become energy efficient, but still the work is very hot. And the range is slightly getting higher and higher. Earlier it was 60 to 100, and now even to 314 miles. Carbon footprint, as I said, it is like depends on the source of electricity. If the source of electricity is renewable, then the carbon footprint is negligible. Environment impact, it's again the raw material factor, the lithium factor, extraction from lithium will exploit not only the resources but also the social infrastructure of the area from where these materials actually have been extracted. Government is saying the cost adoption of electric vehicles is a government initiative to promote electric vehicles on Indian roads. These are subsidies given for the two-wheeler basically, so we can see more two-wheelers on road, and they are not giving for the passenger vehicles. They are giving for the production and other commercial vehicles. So government has initiated many efforts to make it on road, but given the population also and the initiatives are likely to. And then I come to the fuel cell. The only thing is that green color is the fuel tank where hydrogens are been stored, and that has been converted to electricity. So the vehicle can be unmoved. The raw material is as usual. Hydrogen has to be converted. Hydrogen is like not available. That has to be converted to electricity. And hydrogens are available. There is one process that can be very much convenient for the environment. Also, there is a like this process, but water can be segregated. Hydrogen can be segregated from the water, but that again I would be weighted on the water resources. Energy efficiency and range is comparatively better than the BEV, and carbon footprint as usual, green hydrogen use carbon footprint is negligible than other sources of energy. Environmental impact, water is like if water resources are used, One idea is that waste waters can be recycled into pure water desalination and then can put to use as a fuel cell. There is a one government framework is a very big project of the Indian government on green hydrogen, and it's a very good work. If it is successful, then it will be good to the country. And I just compare the efficiency energy as already said, energy wise, BEVs are batteries are comfortable and many work is done on that BEVs, but actually we still need attention and further research. Storage hydrogen can be stored and transported to many places. That is an alternative to the lithium batteries. Still, infrastructure availability has many potentials. The current petrol pumps can be used as a fuel tank for the hydrogen and also the charging station for the others, but new investment is needed. That's another part. And carbon emission, both the vehicles are very good, provided they use the base source and then renewable source of energy. Drivers don't prefer these vehicles because of we have long drivers prefer high speed and internal combustion with the fossil fuel vehicles. And consumers are not aware. Customers are not preferring this much environmentally aware, so people go for this, but major mass has to be made aware. And these are the challenges that India is facing. Basically, raw material, go for both. You have to depend on the raw material infrastructure, you have to build up charging stations and fueling is the part. Batteries can up to 95% of the molecule of the batteries can be reused. So once it comes in abundance in the country, then the material can be reused and used for this. But it again has that problem of recycling infrastructure. So methods of recycling are many chemical recycling. There are various methods of recycling that can be looked upon. And extraction of metals from batteries and collecting, sorting, transporting, handling, and recycling are the collective part of the recycling. I just conclude. Exploitation of one resource for gaining another thing is like not a solution. I think there should be a balance on both. Hydrogen should also be viewed as, and battery EVs should also be viewed. And those are both to go hand in hand so that the pressure on the available resources should be minimized. And batteries will dominate the market because India has an approach of accepting exponentially. They don't accept at the cost and exponentially they accept that dominate the market. So EV will dominate in future, but more very have to be done in the EV and instantly. And also stakeholders have a large role to play for the
Next, we can have Mr. Anil Kumar, who will be presenting on that. Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, sorry for coming online. So, along with me, Mr. Ravi from Tirupati Municipal Corporation and Professor Vadarajan from SVA University. And my professor is already there in the conference. So, I'll be presenting it online. So unlike the other presenters, so this is more of conceptual thinking process that we wanted to present it. While many presenters have given a lot of papers on the technology, innovation, and blah blah blah, but this is more of the shift in mindset, how we need to start thinking in order to achieve the bigger goals of combating with the climate change. That's a very purpose. First thing. So we all know what we are trying to achieve. So whether we are talking about this conference or any other conference or any good work that is happening towards the climate change, we'll all work towards that in a best possible manner, right? And if anybody that climate change, the first thing that comes to anybody's mind is that what is the net zero, right? So everybody has to achieve the net zero, and every country has a commitment in terms of the net zero. Some of the countries have already achieved the net zero. Somebody are in law, especially the European countries, and some are them in proposed legislation. So when it comes to India, so we have a commitment like a 2070 by when we wanted to become net zero, and also we have few other goals by 2030, and reducing 45% of emissions level by 2030. Also we have a goals. All this is looking good and nice. But the fundamental problem is that the efforts and the investments that are going into this space is not good enough for us to achieve those goals. So there should be a fundamentally change in mindset, how we need to be thinking in terms of what we are doing it. Okay, people talk about water management. People talk about waste management. I think this conference talks a lot about waste management. People talk about energy management. All is good. But what about thinking in terms of a carbon-centric integrated mindset? So what I meant to say is that you talk about the water management, people will look at only from rainwater harvesting or treating of the water, reusing of the water. Can we look at how that water is contributing towards the carbon emissions? The moment we have that mindset, then we will have a better approach in terms of how we address the water management. Similarly, the energy management. Similarly, the waste management. So you just take a simple case of waste management, wet waste management, how that wet waste management is translating into the carbon emissions, and then how that is causing the more damage to the earth, then it will change in how we are going to address the problem, right? So this is little old data, right? 2019, but still it gives us a very good representation of where do we stand in terms of carbon emissions by sector, right, in India. So if you look at it, the major chunk is coming from coal and gas and oil-based generation. About 30% of emissions are coming from that. But again, coal means directly the coal is not causing, but the coal burning of the coal in the thermal plants to generate the electricity is causing the maximum damage. That means we should be looking more on the energy and oil and gas sector to reduce our carbon footprint. But you may be thinking that, how is this linked to the waste management? How is this linked to the water management? I'm going to talk about a little bit on that. That's where the mindset should come from, an integrated and carbon-centric approach. Okay. So let's look at, integrated and circular approach to carbon neutrality. So let's not just talk about waste. Let's not talk about water. Let's not talk about energy, transport, and nature. Let's talk about carbon also. But everything, when we put all of these elements driving towards the carbon reduction emissions, then we have a very good approach to work towards. Okay. So as I mentioned that, executing effectively, okay, through a carbon-centric integrated mindset is propelling in impactful results and efforts in environmental sustainability. Okay. So let's quickly take an example of what does it mean, right? So a lot of people and other presenters have been spoken about what is the carbon footprint and blah, blah, blah. But let's understand from a very simple terms, what does this carbon footprint means to an individual, to an entity, or an educational institution, or to a city or a country. Okay. So what we have done is that we have taken in a simple average Indian family and calculated what is the carbon footprint for this an Indian average family. Okay. And the basic elements that we have taken was, what is the electricity consumed, okay, in terms of kilowatt hours, and what is the fuel consumed. So a typical family with more often used a two-wheeler and then less often used a four-wheeler, and LPG cylinder, waste, and then purchase of items, whether it's in terms of groceries or other miscellaneous. When we try to calculate the associated carbon footprint for those consumables and then the activities that the Indian family is doing, it's translating into 550 kgs of carbon dioxide equivalent in a month, right? So people may think that, oh, okay, 559 kgs, what's so big deal about it? But when we try to translate that in the language of number of trees, so you look at it is equivalent to what 300 trees absorb CO2 in a month. Okay. So then people have a better perspective. Oh, a simple average family spending this much of energy and then gas and then fuel and then purchasing these items is equivalent to what 300, the damage that it is causing is what 300 trees are observing in a month. So people have a totally different perspective, that the mindset has started changing, that, okay, I need to work better in terms of reducing my carbon footprint. Okay. Now people may think, oh, no, we have a lot of trees. So why should we be really worried about? Let's look at what is our stats in terms of the trees that we are talking about. In India, the number of trees per person is 28. People may again have an argument saying that, oh, India has a lot of population, so it needs to be balanced. What is the number of trees per person? But look at China. China has 130 trees, so there is no argument on that. But you look at how the other countries are, laid out in terms of the number of trees per person. So USA is already having about 700 trees, and Canada is about 10,000 trees. So we should definitely look at it. How do we, look at in the nature side also? But at the same time, this mindset will come only when you talk in the language of a carbon. Whether you talk about a waste management, whether you talk about water management, anything that you talk about it should translate into the carbon footprint, and the carbon footprint will lead into more integrated and carbon centric mindset. Okay, so let's talk about what does it mean in terms of a carbon footprint of a representative SME, right? Okay, so we did a simple calculation across all the scope 1, 2, 3, okay, for a representative SME, and that's translating into 54,500 kgs, so approximately 55 tons of carbon dioxide emissions per month. So what does it mean again in terms of trees? Again, about 29,700 trees absorb CO2 in a month. So means an SME is responsible for planting or managing about 30,000 trees. If they're not working on any of the energy efficiency or better water harvesting or better waste management, they should be at least looking at planting 30,000 trees and managing it. Okay, that's a perspective that we are looking at. Let's look at what does it mean in terms of an educational institution, higher education, learning centers, right? So we took again a representative of education institution with 1,000 residing students, okay, and about 80 to 70 to 80 faculty and non-teaching staff. And what does it look like for that kind of an infrastructure? It is slightly coming above, because here people do generate a lot of waste in terms of, let's say I'm talking about residing students. So all the wet waste and generated in the hostels, okay, is quite high. So for an example, I'll tell you, in SV University, okay, in one of the hostel, we generate about half a ton of wet waste every day. That translates into, okay, 30 tons of wet waste in a month. Okay, 1 ton of wet waste is translating to 65 kg of methane, translating into 1.62 tons of a carbon dioxide equivalent. So that means they're anywhere from 20 to 25 tons of carbon dioxide they're causing, okay, from these hostels. So again, looking at what does it means of trees, 36,000 trees, and then also look at what is the carbon emissions per student per month. Okay, again, each student is responsible for 36 trees, of what a tree can do it. Okay. Quickly moving on to the next slide.
2 minutes more. Okay.
Yeah, sir, I'm concluding. Okay. So we have a small use case. So that gives us, what is this integrated and carbon thinking should be. Okay. People talk about water management. Let's say water management, how water management will be translating into a carbon management and the change in mindset, right? Okay. So we take this case of SV University. Right now, the current status, I'll tell you. So we have like a 1,000-acre campus, and we have a centralized pumping station. And this pumping station is what pumping the water to the entire campus. That means a hostel which is 1 kilometer away is also getting water pumped from the center, pumping station. Okay. Now, we just quickly looked at what is the kind of an energy that we are using for that, and what is the current ground water level, and what does it mean in terms of a carbon footprint, right? So 48,600 kgs of carbon footprint is what we are looking at, and which is equivalent to 2,200 trees. Phase 1, what we are planning to do is that first improve the rainwater harvesting methods and improve the rainwater harvesting to improve the ground water level from 300 to 150. So what it means is that the moment I improve the water with the harvesting, if I improve the groundwater levels, then I'm going to cut down my energy consumption. So that will translate to a reduced carbon footprint for me, which is 38,000 kgs. Now, phase 2, what we are also planning to do is that can I, instead of centralized, can I decentralize it? Okay, I've improved the ground level. Now, can I decentralize it? When I decentralize the water, the water pumping, okay, then it again gives me a power saving of 30%, okay, estimated. So that will translate into 24,000 kgs of carbon footprint. From 48 to 24, I'm coming down to 50% carbon reduction. Okay. Now phase 3. Phase 3, can I power even that decentralized one? Not all of them, if not all of them, majority of them, can I use a solar or renewable source of energies to power them? So then it will give me another 30%. So what it means is that from the simple techniques, okay, and with the carbon-centric integrated thinking, we could, with this example, I'm talking about with this example, we can bring down from 48,000 kgs to 9,700 kgs of carbon dioxide. And what does it translate? Again, we are talking about 1,760 trees. So you are avoiding cutting 1,760 trees. okay, by simply going in this mindset. So this is only to illustrate this use case, but for every activity, for every other presenter, whatever they have taught, presented, and whatever we have spoken so far, everything, when we start looking at from an integrated and carbon mindset, we can definitely achieve our goals in time with more efficiency. Thank you.
A paper related to climate finance. The topic is protecting the planet profitably for businesses. So our major topic is ESG investment and how it is driving a lot of investment today and changing a lot of perspectives in the financial world. So basically, ESG ratings, they are about measuring these different aspects in environment, social and governance part of the businesses. So in the environment, of course, we have climate change, ecological footprint. In the social aspect of it, we have health and safety. We have customer responsibility. In some ways, it can also transfer to data privacy and, can expand as much as we can think about. And in the governance aspect of it, we talk about the shareholders' right, the management of risk. What is the approach that businesses take towards environment and social, and what are the mistakes that they are making in terms of rating? So there are a lot of rating companies and people that are rating. Like in today's date, I can name hundreds of rating companies that are coming up with ratings with different needs and meanings. Like there will be ESG ratings which are working for investment. Some ratings are just going to be telling you what kind of environmental performance or social and governance performance is going on within that sector. Even sector-wise ratings are there. So, but what we are focusing on is ESG ratings for companies that are going to be reflective of their non-financial disclosure. So all of this is getting revolutionized from Y to Y. Although it may look like the terms come just now in the last 5 to 10 years, but the laws and the discussions around ESG is happening for more than 20 years. I would say that starting from the time that sustainability has become something which has become a buzzword. We have seen ESG in some or the other ways by investors boycotting tobacco-based industries or brown industry. That is also manifestation of ESG. So sustainably responsible investing is something that has always been there. But today, we have ratings which will tell you how good a company is performing. And that is the change that we have seen. So what are the significance of these scores? You will see how the company is performing in terms of these different key indicators that I just showed. And you'll also see sometimes innovative methods that are being taken in company and how they're aligning to the sustainability goals or climate goals today. And which is becoming more and more crucial to businesses because businesses are getting held accountable by customers. It is not just about investment, it is also about retaining your customers and employees. And also it is about the positive impact a business can have and measure. So you're able to measure how much progress you're making towards environment and society. So why we wanted to do an Indian perspective, we saw a lot of papers abroad on a global perspective, but we want to see with the incoming BRSR and more and more companies that will come under BRSR soon, we are going to see a rise of ESG investment in India as well. So India is a very big market for ESG right now. Most of the national stock exchange, almost already 1,000 companies in the National Stock Exchange are already going to be reporting for ESG this year, and institutional investors, large investors like Vanguard, BlackRock, they already have a very big focus on ESG. So what are the aims of our study? We want to understand what is the ESG rating scenario with Indian companies. We have taken the top 150 companies in the National Stock Exchange because they are the companies that we felt will have the maximum amount of data. And we are wanting to see if there is any kind of correlation, because honestly, if you ask any finance person, he will or she will not say that, there's any relationship between ESG and financial gains or profit or risk. But we want to see if companies that are performing well in terms of ESG are also performing well in terms of finance or are having less risk. So we want to see if these indicators are, in some way associated with each other. So in that sense, we've taken 6 indicators: PE ratio, we've taken EBITDA ratio, market capitalization, return on assets, return on equity, and NPM, which is the net profit margin. We want to find out what is the current insight, and also want to keep on seeing what is the progress that is going to take place in the stock market from here on out. And also we want to, contribute to the growing research that is going on into this ESG market landscape. So our methodology was that we selected MSCI rating because MSCI had the most information as far as we could see. Sustainability was also something that we considered, but MSCI gives a lot more information and it's more public. So we have selected the MSCI ratings. So this is a rating that investors rely on for ESG investing, and it covers almost 12,000 global companies. And as I said, we have taken the top 150 companies. Out of those 150 companies, we have found data for 114 companies. And the time period that we have considered is the last 5 years, from 2019 to trailing 12 months of 2023. The data collection cutoff for us was September 2023, and the qualitative analysis that we've done is whole. Yeah. So as I already said, these are the indicators. There's net profit margin. There's P ratio, which is basically the market value per share and earnings per share ratio. This tells you about the company's valuation. Return on assets, how well the company is performing or generating profits against its assets. ROE will be the same, but in case of how well the company is generating profit in terms of equity. The EBITDA ratio, how good it is performing in terms of operational budgets and the debts that they have. We have market capitalization, which will tell the overall market value of the company, and post-expense profitability. So we have tried to take a diverse number of indicators. So we show the results. So this is a mix of companies that we have according to sector. As we can see, consumer and financial sectors services are the biggest sectors for us. This is the average ESG rating by sector. For us, the best ESG rating is for technology and consumer sector. This is mainly, in my opinion, because of the rising ESG investment in technology and consumers, because consumer-facing sectors are going to be facing more slack in terms of ESG. So what were our findings? We saw positive correlation instances of 20% in terms of market capitalization, which means that companies that are doing well in terms of market capitalization are also performing well for ESG scores. But we also saw 10% instances where the scores were bad and the market capitalization was still better. For EBITDA ratio, we saw a reversal of the result, whereas companies with high EBITDA ratios, which are actually quite profitable, they're having lower ESG scores. This would mean that companies that are having a lot of operating profit and are performing well are not investing into ESG or not looking at ESG as a very serious matter. The next thing is net profit margin. Again, 25% instances of companies with good net profit margin also having good ESG scores. Next one is PE ratio. We saw mixed results over here. 16% companies having good positive correlation, that is ESG score is high, and the PE ratio is also high for them. So this was a mixed result, maybe because more and more investors are looking for it. So I think my time is over. Just give me 2 more minutes. Okay. So it's the same kind of result for our other parameters as well. This is a return on assets and return on emissions. What I can say is that there are a lot of positive associations at this moment. We can say that as we might see a shift in other industries as well, and ESG scores will start increasing. This is something that we need to study more, and we need more comprehensive ESG assessment. We need more emphasis on ESG because BRSR is coming up for the first 1,000 companies. We need to see what we can do for the next. And we want to expand our scope of work because we have only used a few indicators. We want to do more complex analysis and take more time with this analysis.
Next we can have A180 from Usa.
My name is Dr. Ankushan. I'm from ISWMAW. I'm one of the key members in the case research center, which we started in 2020 once they became university. So I'm passionate about publishing case studies. I use my own case studies in my course. So okay, today as we are doing this workshop, the conference, on sustainability, I'm doing one case study on L'Oreal, how they are moving into sustainable packaging. And that's the reason I wanted to present in this conference. Of course, this case study is not in progress. I completed the whole case study, but it is not still, it's like work in progress. So, of course, some input from all the stakeholders, so that we can incorporate it in our presentation. So, I think you all know, like L'Oreal is our world's first beauty cosmetics company. And whenever we talk of L'Oreal, you remember one city called Paris. Right? Let's say L'Oreal from Paris. Okay. And they also have two more brands that in Maybelline. They have also Garnier, right? And of course, multiple luxury products. But for people like us, I think L'Oreal was the first to invent the hairnet in the world in 1921. Okay, right? And so there are a lot of R&D they do in the beauty cosmetics sector. So in 2017, they got an idea that we should go into sustainable aspect. And they initially started off with the packaging. And I think we all know, some of you studying marketing, we all know that packaging is the most neglected topic in marketing. Because we are all hammered with product, but nobody teaches us packaging. But I feel packaging is the fifth way of marketing. I call it a silent salesman. Right? Whenever you go to a store and there's nobody to assist you, I think the packaging is what attracts, customer to buy the product, right? And so L'Oreal is going on step ahead, and they're trying to do something on sustainability. So we'll have a look at that. So, I'll quickly run through what are the objectives of doing this case study. Then understanding the L'Oreal sustainable strategy first. Then we'll try to understand the packaging strategy, how they're doing it. And of course, how they'll be thinking of the future, sustainable packaging. We'll be seeing that as we progress. And as we all, I think from yesterday, in all the deliberations, I think we are learning of one word called circular economy, and how L'Oreal is taking the whole thing into the circular economy. And of course, every case study will have case discussion questions. So, I have actually put up 5 questions. So we'll have a look at them. Okay. So these are some of the L'Oreal products, not so clear, but taken from their website. But you can see the products are divided into 4 silos. The first one is called professional products. They're mostly for B2B. I think you all know L'Oreal has their own beauty salons. They're called L'Oreal Professional Studios. And then they have the regular consumer products, which is, I think the famous brands are L'Oreal, Garnier, and Maybelline. You can see them. And then they also entered into the luxury segment, right? They call it as L'Oreal, Duos. And of course, recently they also entered into the active, cosmetics. which are using some ingredients which are not harmful for the skin. Right, this is their product range or product mix. So, like this is a 110-year-old company, right? And as I told you, they're pioneers in bringing cosmetics to the world. And they're embarking on a new purpose in their marketing strategy, that is sustainability. And right now they operate 36 brands, and they have in 150 countries. And right now their mission is to improve the packaging. In terms of sustainability, they want to reduce the use of resources, and also, they want to do the waste reduction in all their manufacturing plants, right? And so that is how they started this. Although they started this in 2007, it almost took them 10 years to get into the game. And so in 2017 onwards, they started in large numbers, right? And so, they created two strategies for that. The first one is called a SPOT. The SPOT refers to sustainable, product optimization tool. Now, this is a measurement scale which they made. And as and when the product is manufactured, they put it in the scale and see whether it is matching with the goals of the sustainability. And also, they're also working with one specialist environmental consultancy. It is called Quantis. And so they launched one strategy called Sustainable Packaging Initiative, for cosmetics. It's called SPICE. And so, again, these are also some rating, parameters or scales, which this agency has made. And all L'Oreal products, as and when they're manufactured, they're put up on this scale. And so, the main objective of my case study is to examine the different initiatives the company is implementing. And most important, I want to know whether customers are willing to pay extra. Right? Suppose I'm changing my whole packaging into sustainability. Is the customer willing to pay extra? Okay. I think that's what will be in the discussion in the classrooms. Right? I think you all know, whenever I want to bring a change in the society, if you do it for the rich people, you will immediately accept it by the middle class. But when you do something for the poor people, right, it is very tough for middle class to adopt, because they think it's cheap. I think, just to give you an example, if you see solar power, right, I think most of you will agree with me that in your society buildings, hardly 5% of solar power is used. Right? And the reason is because solar power started with the poor people. In fact, government gives subsidies. Right? And then the richer and elite solar power is a little bit cheaper. It's like below the limit. Right? The on-contract is I do something for the rich people. Right? Like let us say electric car, right? If our Tesla is launching for 45 lakhs, now immediately start. Okay? Unfortunately, this is how marketing works in the psychological sector. I think, L'Oreal, what is their plan is that they want to bring first in their luxury products, all the sustainable aspects. So automatically, the middle class, who are buying Garnier, L'Oreal, Maybelline and all, they will also move into the sustainable aspect, right? That is their game plan, right? And the second one, I want to emphasize in the case, is the mission really matching to the circular economy? Right? Means although they started with packaging, what can they do in the future? In all these green practices or sustainable practices, we'll be seeing that as we progress. And the last one is how do I educate the consumers, to adopt to sustainable packaging or anything related to sustainability. Right? These are the key challenges which I want to mention in my case study. And of course, what L'Oreal is doing as a company, right? They are doing is something called sustainable strategy, which is resting on 3 pillars. Okay. And so this document, they call it L'Oreal for the Future. And they made this in 2007. Okay. And so they have earmarked 3 important pillars. The first one is how to transform ourselves. That means here they're talking of their employees or the company. And then how do we respect the planetary boundaries? Right? So when we talk of environment, the ecology, everything, there is something called the planetary boundaries. How do I respect them? The second one, how do I empower the entire ecosystem in transitioning back to a sustainable world? Right? It's not only the customer and company. I need to educate my retailers. I need to educate my distributors. I need to educate my other stakeholders. That, and especially, in an MNC, you need to educate your investors also, right? It's not our shareholders. Okay, that we are moving to sustainability, and they should also embrace that. And the third important thing, what they wanted to do was how is this contributing in solving the challenges of the world, by supporting the social and environmental needs. Okay, this is the main blueprint of the sustainable strategy of the world. Now let us see how they have brought that into the packaging. Okay. Now you can see on the corner, the product is called biotherm. Now biotherm is one of their important British salon product, which they use for facial. And if you can see that orange bottle has been manufactured in recycled plastic. Right, the whole bottle is manufactured with recycled plastic. And if you throw it in the environment also, right, it will mix in the earth. Okay, that's how it is. And they partnered with one company called ISWMAW. And ISWMAW is the world's largest packaging company. And so L'Oreal is partnered with them to actually work on this entire packaging. And so, what is their future? You can see something called green parcel. Right? I think today's customers are buying more on online. Right? So you can see both this, on the left side, this is Shop Green, is their e-commerce platform, which is run by L'Oreal. And if suppose they're supplying to Amazon and other platforms, they actually do the green parcel. Right? And this is already been implemented in a country called Philippines. And once they find it successful, they want to bring it to India also. That means the L'Oreal, whatever you order, the entire dabba which will come to you can be recycled. Not only the product itself. That is their future plans. And they're also planning to come with their own retail outlets. Where they want to sell vouchers of any product you want to buy. And you can just go there and refill, your bottle. If someone with shampoo, you can take an empty bottle and they will refill the pouch. Okay, that's what is their future plans. And that's how they're planning to do. And so these are, some things which they're doing for, circular economy as I discussed. For climate, how to reduce greenhouse emissions. So I'll just take over 1 more minute. And for water, how do I recycle and reuse in factories? Okay, biodiversity, encouraging honeybee program. I think you all know in lipstick, right now they use a chemical, which makes your lips glossy. Now they want to, it's called paraffin wax. Now they want to replace it with the honeybee wax. Okay. And so it can give a lot of jobs to a lot of farmers. And then resources, how to empower circular economy and meet all the goals of United Nations. And of course, L'Oreal for the future. This all targets, they put a deadline of 2000. And so this is this is my questions, how I made. Okay. So due to lack of time, I can't run through, but 5 questions I put, from marketing perspective. And this is how, they show their website, the opening, page. And these are some of the, references which I used. Thank you.
For the presentations. Do we have anybody in the online mode who wants to present?
Okay, my name is Samrat Hanaka. I'm from Ethiopia, East Africa. The topic of my presentation is micro-watershed level blue green infrastructure as a flood control solution at Lower Kabana River watershed, which is located in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So So as you know, blue-green infrastructure is a concept of flood risk management that incorporates natural systems to provide both ecological and amenity value, which is associated with urban greening. Plus, it is innovative system which can provide stormwater management and also give benefit of green infrastructure. But still, the stream will get affected, and it is very hard to control flooding because if we are applying these blue-green measures or projects in dispersed manner, still we cannot restore the streams. Therefore, we need like watershed scale or catchment scale implementation of this blue-green infrastructure, and we need to localize such mitigation. So that is a prerequisite for the ecosystem health. So my case study area, which is Gorkabana River catchment, is one of the densely developed watershed in Addis Ababa, which is highly affected by flooding. Based on the Addis Ababa City Emergency Office, the case study area is one of the highly flood affected area. So the main objective of my study is to explore if there is any opportunity for integrating this blue-green network in this densely developed watershed. So specifically, my specific objective is to integrate these blue-green measures and evaluate their performance like before and after the blue-green integration in the entire catchment. So the methodology that I use is a quantitative method. I use secondary data like rainfall data, meteorological data, and biophysical data. And I used simulation in order to evaluate the runoff amount. I used a stormwater management modeling system, which is a ISWMAW, to quantify the runoff amount before and after the blue-green infrastructure measure. So as you can see from the map, I tried to delineate the catchment into 52 sub-watershed, and sub-watershed 12 was selected to apply these blue-green measures based on different criteria, like because there is a high surface runoff volume, because there is availability of space to integrate this solution, and the slope is suitable, and there is also suitable land use type. And in this sub-watershed 12, 6 types of blue-green components has been selected to apply. There are porous pavements, stormwater treat range, gardens, retention pond, and swales. So in the local roads of sub-watershed 12, as you can see from the upper picture, the local roads are 100% paved or impervious. So as you can see from the rendered visualization, the recommended solution is porous pavement in order for them to infiltrate more stormwater. And on the local, in the collector street, I propose rain garden, stormwater treat range, and service pavement. Stormwater trench to be applied more by changing the side of trees into stormwater treat range so that they can catch more stormwater. And the bigger streets like the arterial route can convert the swale, the median into the swale so that it can hold more water. In the parcel, I proposed or I recommended pervious pavements and also rain garden, then the parcel level. And there are around 83 parcels were found in this sub-watershed 12, and 27 of them has been found very suitable to apply rain garden, but 6 of them are not recommended because there is an inadequate space. And retention pond was also proposed at the lowest points of the sub-watershed 12. So as I said earlier, we are applying like small scale blue-green measures. We cannot get like effective solutions. So in order to find effective catchment scale solution, we have to look at the catchment scale. So I try to find suitable location to place this blue-green infrastructure in the whole catchment of Lower River catchment. So slope, different parameter was used like slope, land use, soil, blue network, green network. So by weighted overlay map, I found that suitable location places to place this blue-green infrastructure measures. But after that, I tried to overlay that map with a road network, with a building and existing green network in the river and stream, because the road can work as a green network, because as I said earlier, it can convert the big street to the swale, and we can convert the sidewalk street into stormwater street range, and we can also convert small streets to porous pavements so that they can work as a green network, because network is a very basic thing when it comes to blue-green infrastructure. So this is the final blue-green infrastructure network proposal of me. So after that, I tried to evaluate the performance of these measures. So before applying these measures and after applying these measures by using SWIM modeling. So before the effervescence was like 52%, but after the blue-green infrastructure measure, it decreased to 37%. So because of that, the total infiltration increased and the total runoff decreased, and the peak runoff also decreased. So before like implementing, like 68% of the total precipitation was completely converted into the rain, but to the runoff. But after applying this blue-green infrastructure, the precipitation converted to the runoff is decreased by like 47%. And when imperviousness is decreased by like 15%, the total runoff also decreased by 29.9%. And the peak runoff also decreased. And the total infiltration is increased by 65%. And as you can see from the graphs, so the blue ones are like before the implementation, and the orange ones are like after. So as you can see, the total infiltration increased and the runoff amount is decreased. So as you can see from the result of the modeling, the red ones are like before the implementation of blue-green infrastructure, and the blue ones, the blue color is like after the blue-green infrastructure implementation. So as you can see, it has dramatic difference. So my conclusion is, based on the result of the modeling, blue-green infrastructure is effectively reduce the peak runoff and also the volume of runoff for the entire catchment. And this proposal is only for micro-watershed level. It can be scaled up and implemented in the larger scale. So the city of Addis Ababa is currently using like pipe-based or traditional measure in order to like solve flooding issue, but that's dramatically failed. So the city of Addis Ababa must have watershed scale long-term stormwater management master plan. Plus, we need citywide policy that encourage blue-green infrastructure implementation. Plus, urban planning and design regulation should also be modified and encourage the application of blue-green infrastructure. And thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we are done with all the presentations and we are now open for questions. So,
they need an next much more than that in terms of if you talk about measurements. But in terms of intent, I would give the weightage to them. It depends on the context. Like for example, if the company is not talking about EMS in a lot of their marketing communication, that is a call of governance. And the result will come up in the EMS, meeting.
we have any further questions?
Yeah.
As of now, no other companies started doing so. Yes. The next competitor who is coming up very close is one brand called Forest Health. Yeah, in terms of sustainable packaging, only packaging that. But in the overall company perspective, from the cosmetic industry, only L'Oreal.
I wanted to ask you the framework that you talked about, L'Oreal, spikes and spots. Is it open first of all? Like, is it available to other? Like, can we access it in some way so that we can evaluate different companies?
Yes. It's an open source.
Okay.
Actually, it is not developed by L'Oreal.
Okay.
They have also the technical agents.
Okay. I don't think I got that.
I can send you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, do you think that marketing is going to be the one driving sustainability? Because this is a field where I'm working in fashion.
See, basically, right now, three areas. One is marketing, finance, the third one is supply. So these are the three drivers which are mostly but marketing is not received by the customer. See, whatever is going to the end user, that becomes a news.
Yeah.
So that's the reason Sharjah gets paid more than that.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing him also. So marketing is that we should say the face of the world. So anything what they want to do, I think first we need to kickstart with marketing. And then the finance will flow, then the supply chain operation will flow, and HR. I think L'Oreal is also doing the same thing. Once they complete marketing part, I think then they will move into the many domains.
So in other domains, let's say, consumer facing domain, are there any other industry leaders that are doing sustainable marketing according to their case study?
Then obviously,
I think I'll talk to you this.
So I would request our chair to conclude the session.
We had 1.5% two online, one from Singapore and one from Ethiopia, and three from here. I think all the procedures made some very good effort. All the procedures were very good, new information. And we compared, analyzed all this, including the Singapore percentage based on carbon footprint calculation. We measured scope 1, 2, 3 on this information. And the first speaker comparison on lithium battery and fuel cell from environmental perspective for the comparability. And the professor from local here, he made a case study of a particular cosmetic product. And environmental component. All the speakers, including the Ethiopia speaker, he provided some blue-green solution for the microfill water analysis. So overall, all the things good contribution towards this particular theme on sustainability. Everybody touched upon this. I congratulate and thank you all the speakers and all the participants here for the wonderful session we had. I want to thank the organizers for the opportunity to give us to conduct the session. Thank you all.
How we can come to the group photograph right now?